What do you think about how the media covered Gamergate?
Um, as noted with like the sort of flat earther thing from above, it's important for media to not misinform people by positioning all sides of equal merit and then just leave it to them to make their own decision. It is kind of misinformation. It misleads your audience. I think as we discussed a little bit, like there's a lot of value in being more thorough and like getting both sides and like, but still like sort of making sure you communicate like what, like those sort of conclusions. Um, but in terms of the overall result, like, yeah, I think they got the important parts right.
I want to ask, do you say that there's objective right and wrong with a lot of stuff.
Mm.
Do you think that the position that I take or that people like me take on, hey, look, I don't support harassment, but we need to talk about these issues. I don't think we should shut down the conversation. I think we need to have the conversation. And like, I don't support the harassment by anybody, but we need to talk about game journals. We need to talk about these gamers are dead articles. We need to talk about censorship. We need to talk about this crazy stuff that Devin Wilson's saying. We need to have these conversations, and we need to have them right now. And like, we can also condemn harassment while we do that. Do you think that position is objectively wrong on like the same level as the flat Earth person is objectively wrong?
I think it would have been if you were trying to make that conversation in August 2014.
And so do you think it's fair that the media didn't get our side of the story at all because it was objectively wrong in the same way that you view the flat Earth person as being objectively wrong?
If Gamergate made the effort to address those initial issues and sort of transform itself in a way comparable to what was done with Project Chanology, I would say it would. But in lieu of that, um, I would say no.
I don't think there is a Project Chanology like official organization.
I think well that was like the name of it.
It's a
But
non-centralized leadership. Yeah, that's what it says on
every
Wikipedia.
city, yeah, but every city, every anonymous cell had its own leadership,
And
and there
we
was
had
accountability.
we had we had local meetups too. We had tons and tons of real life stuff. I organized a bunch of
But
the
no,
real life stuff myself, including convention panels, including which I got canceled because of
mm,
a social media mob actually. So I mean that's an incident where I was harassed by
mm,
anti-GamerGate, not by trolls, not by GG Revolt, by anti-GamerGaters. They harassed me and
mm,
they got my panel banned at Archon,
mm. A
and I
lot of
ran
those,
meetups.
mm, a lot of those IRL efforts were not, however, the main thrust of Gamergate. The main thrust of Gamergate was all the online activism, whereas with Project Chanology, the main thrust became the in-person protesting at right outside the doors of the Church of Scientology.
I just surely you don't view the position of we need to have a conversation, even if like you think it's a bit inconvenient right now, as being the same as something that's objectively wrong and therefore not even worth mentioning in the story whatsoever, right? Like that's not the same. Like those are very different things. One is like a philosophical proposition that like people can have reasonable disagreements about. And the other one's an objectively like false thing.
Um, the nature of what it would be achieved by Gamergate sort of reforming itself into something more legitimate is to achieve that legitimacy. And through the achievement of that legitimacy would be the seat at the table for the actual concerns of Gamergate to be taken seriously and addressed and discussed and all the things that you want. But in lieu of that, there's just the overall thread of the thing that had been left hanging, which was that there was a lot of harassment and shit and um, shit stirring that was all the result of this salacious article about Zoe Quinn. That was never, that was baggage that was never really unloaded in any meaningful way, besides just hopes that everyone would forget about it and move on and take people seriously, even though they never did anything about it.
Gamergate supporters. See, we kind of covered this. Why do you why do you think they didn't decide to cover our side of the story? Was it really just that they thought it was illegitimate?
um, um, like probably what media would say is that like I'd imagine they said like, oh, the people claiming about ethics and games journalism. Maybe that's the most you would get. Let's say. Um,
You were a YouTuber at the time. You covered
yeah.
Gamergate. Did anybody from the media reach out to you for an interview to discuss Gamergate?
Uh, no.
Did the media's coverage of Gamergate increase or decrease your trust in the media?
Neither.
How do you think the media should have covered Gamergate?
I think they did okay. Hmm.
Thank you for watching another video segment from the People of Gamergate. I'm happy to announce that the book, The People of Gamergate Volume 1, is now available in both hardcover and Kindle formats. Please head over to gamergatebook.com or search for The People of Gamergate on Amazon to pick up your copy today. Thank you, and have a great day.